Today's magical Christmas spot. Why, we're having a look at Mr. Christmas. He comes from the world of Mr. Men, a childhood staple of spots. Now, Mr. Christmas wasn't part of the original list, the original cast of characters. Why, for that, we just have to turn to the very back. There is all the cast of Mr. Men. We'll just zoom in for a second. A trip down memory lane, perhaps? Some of Spot's favorites were always Mr. Strong, way off in the corner there. He's hanging out by the edge of the piece of paper. I also really liked Mr. Impossible. Where is he? He's almost impossible to find. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Oh, he's actually right next to Mr. Strong. What a coincidence. But Mr. Christmas here was brought out during the Christmas season. This was originated by Roger Hengreaves. It's a hard part with having a signed name. It's always a tough time to understand it. Perhaps that's the inside. It's written and illustrated by Adam Hargreaves. See? Signed names never work. Never work. On the front of the cover, you can see Mr. Christmas is, in fact, either a green triangle or a tree. Triangles seem to fit the world a little bit better. I'm sure he could work with the being a Christmas tree as well. He's got some red gloves on, he's got a red Christmas hat on, and he's got the very iconic, I guess, Mr. Men squiggly shoes, squiggly line shoes. He's got them. I think a lot of the other characters seem to have that as well. No. Oh, Mr. Noisy has them. Squiggly shoes. Oh, and Mr. Silly. Those apparently are the only two that could afford squiggly shoes. I found this at Chapters. You can probably find it at most bookstores. I immediately let out a gleefully "ee" as I saw it, and I had to pick it up. Mr. Christmas. Now, you know what? Maybe as my gift to you guys, or vice versa, I am actually going to read Mr. Christmas. So if you guys want to sit down, grab some cocoa, maybe grab yourself some oatmeal or fried chicken. I don't know what you guys would eat or consume at the time of storytelling, but you can grab that and sit down. Spot's actually going to read. I'm going to read Mr. Christmas. No, I haven't had a lot of sugar. I'm doing a lot of hand movements in this review. So sit down. Spot's going to read Mr. Christmas. Let's partake. Flipping the first page here. Again, written and illustrated. This is to and from. I would not even put anyone's name in there because that ruins the book. And if you then re-gift it or you donate it, then somebody else has to forever look at Ricky, age 8, on the inside of the book. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. It says, in a snow-covered cottage at the South Pole, I was having breakfast. I wonder who was having breakfast, but apparently it's at the Mistletoe Cottage. That frosty morning, as I was popping the last piece of marmalade-covered plum pudding into my mouth, there was a knock on the door of Mistletoe Cottage. Ah, yes, Spot already said that. When I opened the door, I saw that it was the mailman. The mailman, apparently, is a penguin. That's good. He knows his surroundings. It's a good idea. Hello, Percy, I said. Come out. Come on in out of the cold. I've got a letter for you, said Percy. And as it has a North Pole postmark, I suppose it's from your uncle. Everybody at the South Pole knows about my famous uncle who lives at the North Pole. Good old Santa Claus, I chuckled. Haven't heard from him in ages. I don't really see the resemblance, unless Santa Claus is really a green triangle. It's possible. Well, said Percy, thanks for the warm-up. I'd better be off now. Fra-la-la, she said, or he. I opened the envelope. Dear nephew, I read the letter. I hope all is well there. We are busy as usual up here getting things organized for Christmas, which is one of the reasons I'm writing to you. Can you help? He's smiling. Each year I'm finding it more and more difficult to get around to all those Mr. Men. There seem to be so many of them all over the place, and I was wondering if this year, as a big favor to your old uncle, you could stand in for me. Hoping you could help, your ever-loving uncle. Let's flip the page. I really should make some sort of, like this would be a read-along book. I could make like a bloop, and then we would know to flip the page. There's Santa Claus right there. That very evening, I put through a long-distance call to the North Pole. "Hello," chuckled a rather deep, rumbly voice on the other end of the telephone. "Santa Claus speaking." "Hello, Uncle," I said. "Your letter arrived this morning, and I'd love to help." "Oh, good for you," the voice rumbled in my ear. "If you have a pencil and paper, I'll give you the Mr. Men's names and addresses. I'll lend you a couple of reindeer if you like." "Oh, no," I said. "I can manage." I don't know, if you ask me, I totally would have taken Santa up on his reindeer offer. I read through the list of Mr. Men. Oh, sorry. Bling! I read through the list of Mr. Men while I was having supper. First things first, I thought to myself, and the first thing I need is transport. Well, not to interrupt the story at all, but, you had your option. Santa Claus did offer. I'm just throwing it out there. He did offer. And the first thing I need to do if I need transport, I thought, as I chewed, is to talk to Wizard Winterbottom. Fantastic. I don't know, you should have taken Santa's offer up. Bling! The following morning, I set off to see the wizard. A ginormous wizard. Spot added that to the story. I was quite out of breath by the time I arrived to the Wizard Winterbottom's castle. I must say, Wizard Winterbottom Castle is the biggest castle I've ever seen. Of course it's big. Look at the size of this wizard. Mind you, it has to be big because see? Right there. Because Wizard Winterbottom is a giant. Spot's level of deducing is remarkable at Christmas time. Christmas! Wizard Winterbottom boomed in a voice that made my head spin. "How nice to see you. Come in." Flip the page, see what's going on next. "Now," thundered Wizard Winterbottom, "what brings you here on a cold winter's morning like this?" I told him all about my famous uncle, and all about how I had been asked for help, and all about the Mr. Men, and all about where they lived, and all about the fact that I needed transport, special transport. "Can you help me?" I asked hopefully. "Yes," he said eventually, "but I can't do anything until the middle of next week." That's no help to us whatsoever. "Thank you very much," I replied. I don't know, those reindeer start looking really good now. "Goodbye," I shouted, but he didn't hear me. He was already too busy thinking. He's one of those people that when you think, I guess you just can't hear other people. That's a shame. Exactly 2 weeks later, I paid a return visit to the enormous castle. He took me into his kitchen, lifted me up onto his enormous table, and sat me down for a bit of a bump. "There's your transport," said Wizard Winterbottom. "But that's your teapot," I said in bewilderment. "You've heard of flying saucers?" "Ha ha ha ha! Winterbottom, you monster." He laughed. "Well, you're looking at the world's first flying teapot." Spot realizes now that wasn't really funny. I don't know why I laughed as much as I did. I was adding effect. He says, "We took the flying teapot outside the castle, and he pressed the start button in great excitement. I zoomed right around the South Pole in no time at all, and landed safely back at the castle." "Well?" asked Wizard Winterbottom. I was at a loss for words. "Fan-joy-tastic?" suggested the wizard. I grinned. "Abso-jolly-lutely." You can see that they're making up words. They are making up words. Abso-jolly-lutely. Abso-jolly-lutely. I guess they imaginated that. That's one of Spot's words. That evening, I sat down and made a list of Christmas presents for all the Mr. Men. A very long list. It didn't take until 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, it didn't finish until 3 o'clock in the morning. See, look how busy this guy is. He's got a lot going on. Still wearing the squiggly shoes. There's always time for squiggly shoes. The next day, there's all the presents that he's made. I spent the next week and a half wrapping up all the presents, and almost before I knew it, December 24th arrived. Christmas Eve. It's going to be a long day, I thought to myself, as I packed all the brightly colored parcels into my flying teapot. It was snowing lightly as I took off from the South Pole. With all of these presents, I might add. And there he is, deep in the corner there. I almost don't think there's going to be enough room in the teapot, but I'm willing to suspend disbelief here. That Christmas Eve was indeed a very long day, and a very long night too. and the moon was just appearing over the horizon of Loud Land when I delivered the last of the presents to Mr. Quiet. I was quite exhausted. There he is right there. Apparently, Mr. Quiet sleeps right by his front door. I don't know if that would be necessarily a safe idea. That's the way Mr. Quiet likes to apparently roll. I don't know. Christmas morning dawned, and all over the world, everyone started to open their presents. At 7 o'clock, Mr. Fussy opened his present. 365 yellow housecoats, one for every day of the year. He's like, that's a lot of raincoats. Or housecoats. Because they kind of look like, you know what, they kind of look like flapjacks. 200 and, imagine 365 flapjacks. That'd be delicious. At 7:05, Mr. Small opened his present. One jelly bean. Just one. Gift wrapped, banana flavored, a feast. And there is his little jelly bean. Little probably for the rest of us, quite large for Mr. Small. At 7:10, Mr. Greedy opened his present, a cookbook entitled 1001 Ways to Roast an Ox. Mr. Greedy licked his lips and rubbed his tummy. I've never had ox, so I can't imagine if Mr. Greedy is of good taste or, I don't know. If you've had ox, maybe you like, maybe it's delicious, I don't know. At 7:15, Mr. Tall opened his present. Socks, striped socks, the longest, stripiest pair of stretchy socks you've ever seen. They kind of look like look like Doctor Who's, the Fourth Doctor's scarf. And that would be a nice, amazing Christmas present. At 7:20, Mr. Muddle opened a package of cornflakes. Funny sort of present, he thought to himself, not noticing his real present. At 7:25, Mr. Stingy opened his present, a purse, a very, very small purse, just enough not to hold any money, because he's Mr. Stingy. Probably borrows money from everybody else, and that's why everybody doesn't really like Mr. Stingy. He is stingy after all. At 7:30, Mr. Forgetful opened his present. It's my birthday, he thought to himself. Oh, Mr. Forgetful, you're always forgetting. That's why we love you so much. At 7:20, Mr. Chatterbox opened his present, a dictionary. How very, 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 very useful, he murmured. At 7:45, Mr. Topsy-Turvy, over here, opened his present, a picture. How nice, he said, as he hung it on the wall, upside down. What are we going to do with you? At 7:50, Mr. Uppity opened his present, a present for the man who has everything, a gold-plated back scratcher. At 7:55, Mr. Funny opened his present, a book of knock-knock jokes. Knock, knock, who's there? You know that sort of thing. Ha ha ha! I don't get it. At 8 o'clock, precisely, Mr. Silly opened his present, an electric, fully automatic, instant digital, computerized thingamajig. I have no idea. Just after 8 o'clock that Christmas morning, the telephone rang. Hello, rumbled a voice. Hello, I answered. Merry Christmas. And a Merry Christmas to you too. How did it go? Santa Claus asked me. I just got back, I said. Me too, sighed my uncle wearily. I had a bit of a problem in France, he added. I got stuck in a chimney. It's all those mince pies, I chuckled. And that is the end of my story. Well, nearly, almost, not quite. Oh, what's going on the other page here? At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Mr. Slow finally managed to open his present. 5 o'clock in the afternoon was the time, and the day, New Year's Eve. He kind of looks like Wilfred Brimley. Oh, Mr. Slow. And that is the end of the page. End scene. There you go, guys. Meet Mr. Christmas. One day, Mr. Christmas receives a call from his Uncle Santa Claus. He needs help with Christmas presents. Can Mr. Christmas deliver the presents to all the Mr. Men? I guess we found out together. And I think what I'll remember the most in all of this is the laughter. Today's Christmas spot, we were having a look and partaken in the adventures of Mr. Christmas. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Certainly stick around. More Christmas spots are heading your way. And I'll see you guys next time.